Hey, this is the Geek Protagonist. Just want to show you something really cool for Star Wars month. Don't know if you can see the whole thing. This is actually still probably my favorite Star Wars shirt. It also, because it kills two birds with one stone, when I want to watch something at a movie or something, I like to wear, if I have it, I like to wear a shirt that matches. And this is my main Lego shirt. So if I have a Star at the time, especially if I had Star Wars and I didn't have anything for Star Wars, I had this, and then like I said, I found Last Jedi. But that's not the only thing that makes this cool. Check it out. Well, that failed. Basically, the shirt also glows in the dark. Anything you see the white on, this, all of that, it actually glows in the dark. Sorry, I tried to take a picture. I tried to do the thing. It was too dark. Couldn't handle it. Whatever. Cue the intro. So, as you can see, we are doing our Star Wars thing. So, the next film, as you can see, I wrote a lot of stuff here, but it's not going to be that long. The next film is actually Solo in the series. As my list goes, after Revenge of the Sith, if you go by the time frame. So, let's get this here. Let's begin. Just kidding. I act like it was froze. All right. So, Solo. Now, with Kathleen Kennedy in the middle of production, she did change directors. I want to preface that. So, the movie is a little choppy. It went with Lord and Miller. She didn't like that, apparently, then went to Ron Howard. Now, personally, I feel that the movie was done too soon after what happened in the previous film. We'll get to that film, but just in case, I do want to let you know that this is just me talking about the films as a whole as I viewed them. It's been a lot. I'm kind of getting Star Wars out. But basically what happened for the timing of this film, what happened in Force Awakens, it made it feel like this film was a little too soon. I think they should have waited a little longer, let the nostalgia hit. I think it would have been received better. But I do hate the thing when people say how no one asked for it, because do you ever, yeah, you always ask for good films, but do you ever ask for things like Iron Man? I wanted Iron Man, but a lot of people didn't ask for that movie, and look what happened. Some people asked for it, but not in the sense of what it became. It's one of those things where it's like, don't do that, because most surprising series that you ended up loving, you didn't actually ask for. Just saying. And for example, one more, and this is a strong one for me. Nobody asked for Rogue One, and I think that's probably one of the best Star Wars films ever made. So, anyway, uh, you kind of see the thing where the plot is how did Han Solo get and become Han Solo? Now, Han Solo, I'm making sure I'm getting my thoughts together. All right, so Han Solo, it kind of just did this thing where, he like randomly defected and he went to this place and he didn't have a name. He's like, "What's your name?" "Han." "What's your last name?" And he just went solo. And they're like, "Huh, okay, you're Han Solo now." And I'm like, Disney. Why do you keep doing that? You keep taking events and turning them into light, passable jokes. It's annoying. It's dumb. Don't do that. Make it epic. Like how Nick Fury lost his eye when the whole build up from Captain America Winter Soldier and you find out how he lost his eye, it's like that's stupid. That was like the stupidest thing. And you did that for a laugh. That's so dumb. It just stop doing things for a laugh. Do things because it's awesome. Basically, he joins a crew to get a thing to a crime boss. Now you got the guy that I think his name was Alden. He did do a good job playing Han Solo, in my personal opinion. Uh, he doesn't own it like all the way, like, but when I think of him, Hans Young Han Solo, I definitely think he did fit it. I don't think he's the only guy that could have pulled it. Like, so that's what I mean by he didn't own it. Like John Wick, I don't see anyone else playing John Wick because it's the way Keanu Reeves has a certain way about him that many people can't. There's lines and things that he'll deliver that you'll be like, okay, Keanu Reeves said it, I get it, kind of thing. But I think he did fit the role. I mean, even Harrison Ford said, yeah, he puts his way in. You see, and you do see the slow change as the movie progresses, where it's kind of like a Han Solo, you know. Now, I will say this: Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, Lando is probably the best thing in the movie. Like he embodied him. Like as usual, this guy is talented as heck, but he knocked it right out the park. Like he had the charm, he had the charisma of Billy D. Williams, and it was crazy to see. I did, however, I did enjoy Han meeting Chewie, and the connection that they had was extremely solid. I also love the age joke thing when Chewie says how old he actually is. That kind of reminded me of like from the Legend series kind of thing. I like the chemistry they had actually a lot. The movie did have definitely an old western feel, and I definitely did like that. Uh, it had a nice little build up, and for those things that they did well, they did very well. It had it on there, but I do think when the time jump like happened, I think the movie picked up. I do think there's a section in the movie that it kind of slowed up a little bit when they did the time jump just a little bit forward. I think the movie actually got better. Um, it did it did have some like snap moments that kind of felt a little out of place. You'll see if you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. Even if you haven't, there's moments sometimes where it's just like, that's like just kind of in there. The pace did have some, like I said, slow down and was a choppy from time to time. Not all the time. I still liked it. What they did, but it was. But I think that's more of a director different visual kind of thing from Ron Howard to the other. So I think it kind of chopped up a bit because of it because it was like blending a monster sort of kind of thing. And I did, however, some people didn't. I did like the covered wagon heist. That like it went from there and it turned into a gunfight. That always does it in any western. When they're doing a train or something, it ends up turning into a gunfight. It doesn't take much reason for it. It's kind of just a trope. Even for me, I'm not a major fan of heist movies, but I do happen to like when it's like the train heist and stuff. Those because they're a little bit more straightforward and they don't try to confuse you, but yet they can't keep up with their own selves. There's always little holes in their plans. Um, I did think the gunfight was a little like I liked what they did, but then it kind of still went like that. So that's that. I did enjoy the open chaos. I thought it had nice with the resist thing of that gunfight and just how the movie went. Now it had more of a looming threat kind of bad guy, and that Hunter felt like they tried to go a different, more informal kind of direction than the normal Star Wars. The big bad not there because all are bad, just who's worse kind of thing with like the Red Dawn. So what I mean by that is nobody was a true good guy in this thing. Like Han was a good person, but he still was a smuggler. You had the main crime boss, which I think Paul Bettany just was loving it and just chewing it up, and I think he was great. And I wish we did get a little more of him. Um, but like every character in there, nobody was like the true good guy. Even the Hunter thing was kind of a little jarring, but yeah. But like I said, I definitely would have liked to see more Paul Bettany. I did enjoy Woody. I actually did like the crew, and I thought it was cool that he was kind of a mentor, but kind of a bad guy. It kind of reminded me of Treasure Island. I don't know if you ever read that, but Long John Silver and the Cabin Boy, like how their relationship was. It was like they were connected, but they were also opposing. I like that. I thought the banter was very good. I thought the space chase was good. Once again, um, I just want to point out, and this is kind of me just as I was going through it, literally marking my notes. I really hated that whole "let's go for the joke" thing. I did like the scoundrel being a good guy, uh, but kind of find his own way story that they gave us. Basically going in there, going for what he did. Like I said, I really do feel like Chewie and Han definitely worked. I liked how they communicated. I think him talking made a connection. Some people had a problem with him speaking the Chewbacca language, but I mean, it's honestly just it's not insane. Like people are like, oh, how can he do it? Like it's like it's nothing really that deep. Sorry, it's just not. And I like that because he knew about Chewbacca, but Chewbacca understood English. That's a Star Wars trope. All the aliens understand English, even if they're speaking their own language. Like I do, and you're probably gonna hear me repeat this a couple times. I noticed that people will nitpick the Star Wars films for these kind of things when the other movies that Lucas did the same thing. Just kind of weird to me. But now I can admit that I think if the movie focused more on the relationship between Han, Chewie, like Lando, it would have been better. I mean, Chewie, when he went off and started ripping off body parts, I thought that was great. He's beating people with it. The viciousness of a Wookiee, I seen that before, like some of the books and things. I do, however, legitimately wish that they would have focused more on Chewie and Chewbacca. I'm sorry, Chewbacca and Han. I think that would have been made the movie a little better. I did find it interesting that the rifle got broken down to a blaster. First, I thought that was just cool that you could break your rifle down to a blaster and still shoot that distance, but it was supposed to be a rifle. That's a powerful shot, actually. I also thought it was interesting that he kept a blaster, someone that he learned, this like twisted kind of teacher, and I think it was really interesting that he does because that guy still kind of made an impact on his life, and he kept the blaster. It kind of was like a nostalgia thing, and it always worked. It saved his life, so why not? And I also love the fact that Han just shot first. They didn't try to do the smirky, oh, hey, kid, always shoot first. No, they just, Han was like, nope, bang, and just shot first. Um, it was sweet. It was obvious twist with the situation and stuff, but I don't always need some deep, oh my God, it caught me off of there. Sometimes I just need it to be what it is. The Millennium Falcon, I thought was interesting with the life pod, but I also thought it was a little weird. Um, but I actually have to admit, I actually really did love the Kessel Run. Like I thought that was really cool. They had to get there, they had to do it, why they had to do it, the setup, and this whole movie was kind of based around that. I wish it focused more on Chewie and the Kessel run versus the other guys. Like I get why they did it, but I think a little bit more focused that way would have made it better. But Kessel Run was cool to see. Space squid, space whales. I don't know, ocean animals in there. Uh, and I did think it was odd to have the hunk of junk and a little inconsistent for future movies. Now that I know Lando's droid lover is the ship itself, so it was kind of weird where he had all this affection, but then the affection was just kind of lost, I guess. Now the revolt on the Kessel itself, that was kind of dumb. It was boring because it went like full SJW out of nowhere for some reason, and that really made me roll my eyes. Even the second and third time I've watched this film, like something just needed. Okay, you could have had a guard have done something, or a slave kind of could have tricked someone, or you could have freed them and said go create some chaos or opportunity. No, she just went Viva la live. Like she was so SJW through the whole film with L3. It was just kind of weird. Like you know what I mean? It was just odd. It was just like this whole just the robot revolution, and I'm like, yeah, I know in the books they had that too, but it wasn't that. Why are you doing this forced diversity woman thing? L3 becoming a part of the ship made the charter. It did kind of give the ship Millennium Falcon more personality. And yes, I call it the Millennium Falcon because Vader called it the Millennium Falcon. So I know some people say Millennium Falcon, but I call it the Millennium Falcon because of that. And I just think it sounds more spacey since they have very weird names like Jin. But Jen, instead of being Jin, is Jean or so. Like, so yeah, I call it Millennium Falcon. Um, and I did see how Lando had the whole thing connected. Cried over it, and that's like the first time, the only time you've seen Lando really have a thing. I did love that the Wookiee destroyed the others, and they did the head to head with the touch. It was like a connection of their people. I thought that was interesting. Like I said, Lando crying over the death was a little weird because I was trying to figure out the pansexual thing. I'm like, oh, did he have sex with the robot? Because I know the writer said something about pansexual, but whatever. It's still SJW robot. Like the writer said he was, but I'm like, nothing in this movie really told me that except for that scene where he cried over her. But I thought she kind of did a thing where she was in love with him. So it was kind of light and kind of weird, and it kind of felt like it glossed over. It felt like it was pushing diversity in that weird Disney we can write it off kind of way instead of leaning all the way into it, which is annoying. I'm like, you either lean into it or don't do it, kind of thing. Um, It is funny though how he changes his story as the legend goes. I think that's cool that each time he's corrected, he's changed the story and embellished a little bit as a pirate kind of guy would. Uh, Very good throughout. Let's see what else I got here. SJW Hot Droid is working with the Pathmaker. That was cool that it kind of became the navigation system. Hence why you don't see a robot really running it because a robot is running it. Uh, I did have to say the Space Squid was really freaking huge. I thought that was actually really interesting, and I think that's where they spent most of the budget. It's like the space thing. Um, how they had to do it in the 12 parsecs, and it's under 12 parsecs, at 12 parsecs. A lot of things with the ocean animal shore. Ness was a monster. That I do want to say she was cool, but is another Star Wars character that kind of ended up feeling like Boba Fett. When she tested you, when she took people out, it was like you could have talked the whole time and you're the rebellion. But at the same time, I did like the rebellion thing, and I also thought it was interesting that they started dealing with the young ones because as Star Wars has expanded, you see that a lot of times for a lot of these wars, they're grabbing young people, whether it be Jedi clones, um, to make Boba, like the Resistance. A lot of times, it seems like it ends up being kids, indoctrinations and stuff like that. I think that's very interesting. But I do think that the whole mass it kind of did break the intrigue of who the character was, and I felt like the character was supposed to be somebody else. I did think it was interesting that Darth Maul was running the underground. Being a big boss was kind of introducing the stuff with the cartoon. It had Sam Witwer's voice that added a lot for me because he added a lot to the character for me. Instead of Darth Maul being some growling demon looking thing, he actually had a lot of personality, thoughts, skills, things like that. Also, I like the fact that when he cracked the lightsaber, and it was like more like he was just angry. Some people were like, "Why do you do that?" I was like, "Well, I know it was for flair for us, but I think it was him cracking the lightsaber because he was like, and it was like, because he still had an animalistic thing, and it was an Inquisitor lightsaber, which I thought was really cool. And you hear about the dilemma. It was like A New Hope with the rebels. We start low, and you start to see that rebel. It keeps coming up. It's kind of a very circular story. I still would like more from this story. Stuff with the Sith holocron and things like that. I kind of want to know and maybe do a series or something on Underground. I would love to see Lando or even a continuation with Solo and his wife or something, but I want to see more about the Underground and what's going on there because it keeps popping up in different series and different things. And it's like you're giving us these little nuggets, and I want to know more, but I want the right writers to do it. And it left a lot of questions with Maul for that. And I know when I remembered on the other stuff, he was on the revenge thing to take down the Sith. So I kind of like that he popped in. My end result is that even though I enjoy this movie definitely need bacon. There's a lot they could have did and a lot that they didn't do. The script was fine, had a little dryness to it. Definitely Frankenstein Stitch. Too many hands in a jar. Did something, but more focus could have, like I said, really helped it. I did have fun. I feel like it was definitely too soon. Read this here. I would like to see some more young adventures with him, but it's okay. I mean, did get to see Maul's end. Movie's still better than the prequels. I think it would have worked better as Disney. Yeah, that's something to note here. I think this would have worked better if they would have saved this for a Disney Plus series. I think the small bites and the episodicness would have made it actually flow better, and I think they should have held off on that. I think they should definitely do more on Maul, the Underground. Maybe reference and maybe show a little bit more of Solo or his wife, and kind of just have her going off and do her thing when Solo. I mean, if Solo loses, like I'm not dealing with her anymore, that's still a Solo kind of thing. So you could have had it like maybe make a Disney Plus series out of the Underground and have the wife running stuff and see if Amelia Clark is available, and show what Maul was doing during this time. Yeah, so that's it. I think it needs a little bacon. This one's a little bit more laid back, but I don't hate the series. I actually enjoy the movie overall. Uh, I think though, just as trying to be analytical as possible, I think they could have did more. Uh, the effort was there though, and I think when you go watch the movie and kind of just let it play and really just look, I think the movie will work better for some people. All right, well, that's it. That's Solo. That one's out. The next one it should be Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. So I'm gonna get to that next. I want you to stay healthy, stay safe, stay real. This is the Geek Protagonist. I am out. Tell me what you think in the comments about this series yourself. Like I said, this was a little more laid back. Had a very long day, but I'm gonna jump on the next one, and I'll see you. Woo! Hey, thank you for visiting my channel. This is the Geek Protagonist. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please, it'll really help me out in the channel if you actually share these videos, if you like what I'm doing. Please hit that bell notification. Hit it, click. This way you won't miss any of my videos. Also, there's a thing on there that says personal and all. Hit the all. This way you'll get them every time for the notifications. I'm trying to, grow, trying to do commentary about what's going on. And I want to thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay real. This is the Geek Protagonist. I'm out, and I'll see you.